The world is changing, technology advances at a dizzying pace. Globalization connects us in ways unimaginable just decades ago. But this rapid progress casts a long shadow. Organized crime thrives in this environment. It exploits the speed and anonymity of the digital world. Criminal syndicates reach across borders with ease. Their sophisticated scams and fraudulent schemes leave a trail of financial devastation and human misery. We are in the midst of a global crime wave. These are not isolated incidents. This is organized crime on an industrial scale, and it is happening right under our noses. From the bustling streets of Southeast Asia to the financial hubs of the Middle East, a complex web of criminal networks operates with impunity. Their reach is vast, their methods are sophisticated, their impact is devastating. Southeast Asia has become a breeding ground for large-scale scamming operations. These are not small-time grifts. These are highly organized syndicates generating billions of dollars annually. Their victims are scattered across the globe. They operate with ruthless efficiency. Lured by the promise of easy money, individuals are trapped in a nightmare. They become modern-day slaves, forced to participate in elaborate scams. Their weapon of choice? Deception. One particularly insidious tactic is pig butchering. Victims are cultivated over time. They are drawn into fake investment schemes. The trap is sprung, and their life savings disappear. While initially focused on Chinese nationals, these scams have gone global. No one is immune. The Middle East and Africa are now firmly in their sights. Zambia, a nation grappling with its own economic challenges, has become an unlikely hub for cybercrime. The recent raid on Golden Top Support Services in Lusaka exposed the dark underbelly of this growing problem. This Chinese-run company masqueraded as a legitimate call center, but behind the facade a sophisticated cybercrime syndicate was at work. Their method was simple yet effective. They exploited vulnerable young Zambians desperate for work. These recruits were trained in the art of deception. Using advanced technology like SIM boxes, they disguised their location. Victims believed they were communicating with individuals in their own countries. They fell prey to scams on platforms like WhatsApp and Telegram. The money flowed back to the syndicate, leaving a trail of financial ruin in its wake. These criminal enterprises could not function without one crucial element: corruption. Government officials and law enforcement agencies often turn a blind eye. Sometimes they are active participants. Bribery and intimidation are tools of the trade. The lines between legitimate business and organized crime become blurred. This corruption has a corrosive effect on society. It undermines the rule of law. It erodes trust in institutions. It creates an environment where crime flourishes. And it is the most vulnerable who suffer the most. They are denied opportunities. They are trapped in a cycle of poverty and despair. Section 5. The money trail. From scam to IPO, the billions generated by these scams need to be laundered. They are funneled through a complex web of shell companies and offshore accounts. But there are growing concerns that these illicit funds are finding their way into legitimate financial markets. The Middle East, with its booming IPO market, is a potential target. The influx of foreign investment into the region raises red flags. Are these scams indirectly funding legitimate businesses? Are investors unwittingly complicit in criminal activity? These are questions that demand answers. The integrity of global financial markets is at stake. The operations we have discussed are not isolated incidents. They are indicative of a larger trend. Criminal syndicates are becoming increasingly adept at exploiting the interconnectedness of the global economy. Their reach extends far beyond the countries where they are based. The internet has broken down geographical barriers. Victims can be targeted from anywhere in the world. This makes it incredibly difficult for law enforcement agencies to track down the perpetrators. International cooperation is essential if we are to effectively combat this growing threat. Behind the staggering sums of money lost to these scams are real people whose lives have been devastated. They are often lured in with promises of love, friendship, or financial security. The emotional toll can be just as damaging as the financial losses. Victims may experience feelings of shame, guilt, and betrayal. They may be reluctant to come forward for fear of judgment or reprisal. It is crucial that we provide support and understanding to those who have been affected by these crimes. Combating these criminal networks requires a multifaceted approach. Law enforcement agencies need to be properly resourced and equipped to deal with the sophistication of these operations. International cooperation is essential to breaking down the geographical barriers that these syndicates exploit. Governments need to address the issue of corruption, which allows these criminal enterprises to flourish. And we need to educate the public about the dangers of scams and how to protect themselves from becoming victims. The rise of global criminal syndicates is a threat to our collective security and prosperity. We cannot afford to ignore this problem. We must act now to dismantle these networks and bring the perpetrators to justice. This requires a coordinated global effort. Governments, law enforcement agencies, and civil society must work together. We need to be vigilant, we need to be proactive, and we need to send a clear message that crime does not pay. The future of our globalized world depends on it.